Hi guys, Rhonda without an H here with you again. Okay, this is part 2 of my journal along with me altered book. And I've never really altered a book before. I've looked at lots of videos. I've seen some beautiful works by many people. We'll see. Anyway, so as you can see, my O. Henry book is a little bit on the skinny side now because I have taken out, whoops, I've taken out the signatures with the exception of just a few things in. But by the time I get my altering done and the additions that I add, I expect that the book will be just as fat or maybe even a little fatter. We'll see. So, first of all, just to show you, I added a piece of cardstock and then put some washi tape on here just to add so it had the same texture, the same thickness, weight as the rest of this did. And what I did is I glued these first 2 pages together with my trusty extra strength Elmer stick glue. And this is what I have done. Let's take the cover off. There again, I don't know exactly. I'll do this last, if I do anything to it, and this. So here is my first official altered pages. I have created a 4-page spread if you include the tip-in. So my challenge to you, everyone, those of you that are following along, is to create a tip-in, which is this additional page. So you've got, and 4 pages. 4 pages. Oh, okay. 4 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I did and recommend, if you're doing it the same way as I am, and this is really a learning process for me too, you guys, as I'm trying to get out of my slump, do something different, get the creative juices flowing again. I'm gluing 2 pages together for sturdiness. So this is 2 pages glued together. This tip-in is also 2 pages glued together that I've taken from my, I should show you, let me get this, from my massive stack of pages that I have removed from the book. This gives, I mean, innumerable possibilities of yummy things that can be done there. And so I'll keep that handy, that pile, and from that I took 2 pages, glued them together, and then I stitched. If you can take a peek, see here, you can see that I've stitched on 3 sides of that. And with washi tape, I have attached the page front and back to create the tip-in. And if you want to get technical, this is like a secondary tip-in. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in just a minute. So, if you decide to take this mission upon yourselves, my friends, you will put a tip-in. Now, let me kind of show you just basically what I'm talking about. And as you can see, I've already glued 2 more pages together. I like the stability and strength of that. So let me grab some washi tape just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. And I don't know if any of you had noticed, but I use pinks. Oh my, she likes pinks? Yes, this girl loves pinks. All right, so for the tip-in, I took, like I said, 2 pages, just, you know, opened it up. That gives you your 2 pages. But you do want to cut or fold some of that off. Otherwise, when you do your tip-in part, it would be too close to the seam here, and it would fold, and it would be difficult to open up. This way it makes it really nice. It doesn't interfere with anything. And I just eyeballed it, probably 1/2 inch, 5/8 of an inch, something like that. So you can do a couple of things. You could, like this, you can fold it like this. You can put it, butt it up against the fold line, making sure to keep your top and your bottom straight. You can, with a glue stick, you could glue this and put this right like that. So that will create a tip-in if you want to do it that way. Another thing that you could do, if you want to go ahead, let's assume that this has been cut and that this is the size of your 2 pages together, and you have already embellished. I recommend that you embellish before you add your tip-in. My Facebook group, Stitching Fabrics, Papers, and More, we're all about combining the mixed media, the fabrics and papers and different textures, that kind of thing. And so it's a little challenging to do that in an already finished book, altering a book. But with tip-ins, that can make it an easy process, perhaps. Like, for instance, I can embellish this page and I can add my fabrics and lace and a picture and maybe some collage or a little bit of journaling or whatever I might want to do here. And on this side, I can do the same here. Then I can use a glue stick to lightly cover, smooth my pages together, and then stitch around 3 sides. That would work very well. If I wanted to, I could take these 2 together and I could stitch and embellish this way, not worrying about what's popping through on the other side if I'm stitching. And in fact, if you'll notice, on this particular page, I did stitch around, and then you can see where I have stitched my quilt block on. And if you look really closely here, you'll see those lines a little bit. And that was fine because of what I ended up doing. And actually it created a kind of a focal point, a window for me to go ahead and start working within, which was kind of fun. So it just depends upon what you want to do. This is your creative process, and we're just kind of working together. Another thing that I did was I rounded my corners. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And I'm not doing that. I don't think I'm going to do that on the main pages, but I think as a standard I will probably on my tip-ins. Or you might call it a fold out. Same kind of thing. Okay, where was I? I digress, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so you can add, I was on the other way that you can add your tip-in, and that is with your washi tape. You can tape, use it, and I don't really want to necessarily do this, so I'm not really going to hold it down tightly, but if I were doing this, I would go about halfway in to where my washi tape meets in the middle. Oh! Now, wouldn't you just know it? Normally, washi tape really doesn't stick all that well. This seems to be a sticker. So halfway in, and I'd go all the way down, and then I cut it off, or you can tear it off. I'm a cutter. Some people are tearers. And then I would come up, and for the other half, I would carefully line this up and rub it, press it down so that it's on the other half. And then you would fold it over and press it. And you'd see half of your washi tape on this, and then half of your washi tape here. And then what I would do is, now this you wouldn't have any washi tape on because this is the back side. Then I would unfold it again, and I would put washi tape down this side and press it down good. And if your washi tape isn't real sturdy, I would get my handy glue stick and add that just to make sure that it's down there securely. And this shows you that process. You can see you've got about half here and half here. And then if you open it up, you've also got it on this side. And I added the little journaling sheet on my deli paper. Crinkle, crinkle. In the same way. Very same way. So it's kind of a nice, fun, easy way. But there again, doing it this way and folding and gluing and then perhaps even stitching it down would also be great. Now obviously you'd want to stitch it here, and this would work. I could maneuver this in my sewing machine, and so I may on some of my tip-ins with this particular journaling altered book process. We'll see. But that gives you some options. Okay, guys. Just to go over the challenge number 2, if you will. Number 1 was to take your pages out, get your book prepared. And if you don't want to take this many out on your signatures, then you don't have to. But you want to get your book prepared, however many you're taking, whether you want to skip 1 or 2, however you want to do that. I'm not trying to tell you how to take your pages out, but do it whatever method you prefer. And then the number 2 challenge is to make a 4-page spread with tip-in. Now, going back to this, as a quilter as well, I did this block a couple of days ago, and I had in my mind that it was an altered square and a square block. But I haven't quilted for a few years, and all of my quilt books are packed away, waiting for when hubby retires and we move again to, to our permanent home. And so he's still healing from back surgery and can't move and lift and bend and twist and all of that. And it's a pretty big job to go through and get the boxes that are on the bottom. There's a lot of heavy boxes. So I had no references to double check the name of this quilt blog. So I went online, and I had to have spent at least 2 hours looking online and trying to reference and cross-reference and try to find actually what the name of this block really was, and I couldn't find it. My intention was to put the name right here, and I couldn't, so I added, this is a napkin that I cut out and glued this on, and then I put a light coating of a Mod Podge or Liquitex gel medium over it. So I'm writing about, this morning I wrote a little tidbit about my ridiculous time that I spent yesterday. And, you know, at some point I hope one of my grandkids or my kids, as they're looking back on my journals, that they'll look at that and kind of get a chuckle out of, you know, my silly process. But it gives a little insight into me for my kids. This particular page, sometimes I do like to draw. I draw faces. I'm not good at it. I suppose that if I spend every day and I drew every day, that I would probably definitely get better, but I don't. But periodically I like to do that. I love flowers. Love, love, love flowers. So I love these colors. I just kind of had fun. It took me a while because, quite frankly, originally I thought, well, I'll let my friends on Facebook, they can, you know, I'll show them as I'm working the process. So it would have taken forever, guys, because mainly I just sat here looking at the paper going, what should I do? And so obviously a video on what should I do, I thought would be very boring. This is a rubber stamp that I colored in with some crayons that you can add water to and kind of mix it around. Distress this. This is washi tape. This is a date stamp. In case you didn't know, I did this on June 13th. So, anyway, this is a little bit of collage. This is a fun sticker sheet that I've just had for some time that I pulled off some images. Junk, just love it, just in a, really nothing. So, there we go. So this is number 2, which is basically, I know this is going to confuse me because this is my first official page spread, but it's my second challenge in this overall thing that we're doing. So, number 2. All right, guys, there you go. Make a tip in, make it fun. Make it pretty, make it ugly, whatever. Whatever floats your boats. Until next time, thanks for watching, guys. Bye now.